Yep, 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 yep. Yep. What's up, y'all? Tell like it is TV, man. Let's talk about it, y'all. So first of all, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you want to donate. The links is in the description box. If not, that's cool. The like button is, that's right, y'all. The like button is free. All right, man. So let's get into this whole P Diddy situation, man. This whole Cassie, Puff Daddy situation. Like I told y'all before about this situation, man. I know it's, a thing that, when you hear, the crimes and you see video proof of, Diddy and the Cassie situation. Like I said, I'm not condoning no man, putting hands and feet on no female. You know what I'm saying? I don't condone that. All right. But another thing I don't condone is, you know, people out here just throwing charges on people that don't fit and that don't stick on the situation. You know what I'm saying? You cannot like P. Diddy. You can think P. Diddy is a scumbag. He's a woman abuser, right? You can say all of these things. But for the crimes that they have this man under, it's some complete BS, in my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? And as this trial has been playing out, P. Diddy being a complete freak and a complete, what they call them shits, cuck or whatever the fuck, that's not a crime. You see what I'm saying? I just want y'all to understand that. You know what I'm saying? I know, people are big into conspiracy theories and, people think that, P. Diddy out here dealing with underage women and sex trafficking kids and stuff. Like I said, when I spoke about this case in general, back all the way back when P. Diddy was when he first got arrested. I need to see the crimes of P. Diddy, especially stuff that was going over the internet. I mean, the stuff that was going over the internet, P. Diddy was the leader of child trafficking and all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not for that. You see what I'm saying? I'm not for that. I'm not for putting crimes on people where it don't stick. Okay? But Cassie is not innocent in this situation. She was a part of this whole thing with P. Diddy. The husband knew about it. And as we're finding out more and more about this case, you know, if we're finding out that Cassie was actually cheating on her husband with P. Diddy. So how is P. Diddy going down for a one-man RICO? I've never heard of that ever in my life. You know what I'm saying? One man going down for RICO, I've never heard of that. You know what I mean? Now, if you want to say if P. Diddy was going down or this case was about domestic violence, then yes, they both were beating the hell out of each other. You know what I'm saying? That was a very toxic ass goddamn relationship. And from time to time, if you've been around and known people or whatever the case may be, people be in these kind of toxic relationships. That is not a crime. Okay, it is not a crime. Two motherfuckers who are very handsy. Okay, and in these relationships, that's not a crime. You know what I mean? But one of the testimonies that Cassie had that I found was very interesting was the fact that, Cassie claimed that P. Diddy, went in her house, raped her on her living room floor. Okay, now I want y'all to understand this. Okay, number one, P. Diddy comes over to her husband's house. Okay, Cassie opens the door for somebody she's not in a relationship with no more. This man pursues to rape her, according to her testimony, okay? Rape her on her living room floor, okay? And a year or whatever the case may be, they get up again and have voluntary sex, okay? If y'all believe the shit coming out of Cassie's mouth about, her being forced and all this other shit, dog, listen, man, like I told y'all, man, this shit is setting a kind of a dangerous situation for men, okay? Heterosexual men, okay? when it comes down to these a female can literally at this point have sex with you and then turn around and say, no, he raped me. You know what I'm saying? This shit is ridiculous and it's BS. In my personal opinion, it's complete BS. You know what I mean? You know, the fact that, you know, they're pushing this case as if Cassie was being forced into do this stuff is fucking ridiculous. You know what I mean? And then I stood on that when I did these videos way back. You know what I'm saying? I stood on it and I'm still standing on it. Cassie is not as innocent as y'all niggas is running around here making it seem as. She was down with the freak offs. She's a freak her goddamn self. And being a freak is not a fucking crime. It's not. It's not a crime. You know what I'm saying? The media is out here running around making it seem as if, you know, P. Diddy was out here just raping motherfuckers and forcing motherfuckers into doing shit. Cassie was a freak. Cassie wanted the life, okay? She wanted the lifestyle, and she was all with doing any and everything to be in that position. She could have easily said no. Could have easily been like, you know what? I have some integrity about myself. I'm not going to be partaking into none of this. You know what I'm saying? So if the glitz and glamour means that I have to do this and have sex with people I don't want to have sex with and you know, getting urinated on and urinated in her mouth and all this whole other stuff, she could have easily said no. Okay? But she chose to do that. And so because she chose to do that and partake in this lifestyle, okay, you cannot turn around and then be like, oh, well, he forced me to do it. Like, ma'am, we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, you know, these two motherfuckers was just in a toxic ass relationship. Cassie, this shit is exposing Cassie. I mean, they both scumbags. Let's not get this clear. They're both scumbags at the end of the day. Diabolical scumbags. Freaks at the end of the day. But like I'm going to keep saying, being a freak is not a crime. So with Diddy going down for racketeering and sex trafficking, is complete BS. In my personal opinion, this case is a fucking distraction, in my personal opinion, of what's really going on in the fucking country. Okay? In my personal opinion, it's a big distraction because when you're listening, I've been following the case just to hear, okay, where's the fucking, you know, all the crimes that people swear up and down, you know, oh, the baby oil. Diddy had thousands of bottles of Johnson & Johnson baby oil. Okay, a nigga having a bunch of baby oil is not a fucking crime. You know what I'm saying? Now, what he's using with that baby oil, lubing and shit like that, you know, that's some freak shit that they on at the end of the day. But that is not a crime, okay? It's not a crime. Diddy liked to watch his girl, he liked to watch Cassie get stretched out and shit like that. It's not a crime, okay? That is not a crime. So I don't understand this whole thing and this whole hoopla of the P. Diddy case. I really don't. What them two motherfuckers was doing in their bedroom or in their hotel rooms and shit like that, they ain't got nothing to do with nothing at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure you have ran into people who are in a relationship. They might even be fucking married that are into this type of stuff. They might meet somebody at the job. They might meet somebody at a club, a bar, and they partake in, you know, sexual activities, okay? And so you telling me that anybody who's meets somebody and, you know, they participate in sexual activities, that somehow, some way, this is now sex trafficking? We're calling this sex trafficking now. You know what I'm saying? A motherfucker adding somebody to the bedroom is now sex trafficking, okay? Like I said, Cassie's full of shit in my personal opinion, and I've been told y'all that, and that's where I stand on that. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a damn about, like I said, this is a pro men channel for the most part. You know what I mean? You know, we don't mind the ladies coming over here and all of that. You know, that's all good. You know, we touch on some female topics and stuff like that as well, but this is a predominantly male channel, okay? So we're going to tell the truth. We're going to tell like it is, point blank, period. You know what I mean? Whether you niggas like this shit or not, you know what I mean? But these two were just in a toxic relationship. I'm not hearing nothing out of this trial so far, and it's been, what, a weekend? I'm not hearing nothing to sway my opinion to say, oh, well, damn, this nigga Diddy was out here on some bullshit. No, Diddy was, he's a freak master at the end of the day. And being a freak master is not a crime. And do I believe that Diddy was forcing this woman into doing the activities that she was doing? Absolutely not. I do not believe that Diddy was forcing this woman to do this shit. I don't. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I don't believe that shit, dog. You know what I'm saying? This woman was with it. She was all for it. She was all for the get down. That they had Don Richards and shit out here. Like I said, these women wanted the fame. This is the industry at the end of the day. This is Hollyweird at the end of the day. They participate in a lot of diabolical shit, and all you have to do is have some fucking integrity about yourself and say fucking no. Okay? Tell like this TV, don't you got daughters? Yes, and I would tell my daughters in a fucking heartbeat, if you feel uncomfortable doing some shit, then don't do it. Know what I'm saying? It's that simple. Don't fucking do it. You feel uncomfortable? Don't do it. But don't get your ass out here and motherfucking partake in some shit where you feel uncomfortable with, and then turn around and say that you were forced into doing this shit. You a fucking lie. You know what I'm saying? You are a fucking liar. And I will not stand by that, even as they goddamn father. You know what I'm saying? I'm not standing with that shit. Period. Even the fact I have two beautiful daughters that I love to death. You know what I'm saying? I would not stand with that. You know what I'm saying? Straight up and down. I'm not standing with that. You know what I mean? You're not about to be out here lying on folks. Nah, I'm not for that. You know what I mean? You're not about to be running around here just lying on people. Now, like I said, if P. Diddy was the case is already, y'all seen all the transcripts and shit at this point. I don't need to go through this whole fucking case. P. Diddy clearly was asking the woman like, hey, let's do this tonight. And, he clearly like, she's like, oh no, I'm not in the mood today. Okay, we'll do it another time. When you feel better in the mood. Cassie was actually the one reaching out to these men so they can come through and stretch her out in front of Diddy and shit like that. We're finding out Cassie was the one that was actually reaching out to these dudes. You know what I'm saying? So how the fuck is Diddy going down on some sex trafficking shit when it's Cassie that was the one reaching out to these dudes? Cassie was the one who had relationships with these dudes. So I don't understand how P Diddy is going down, in my personal opinion, based off that shit. He had that deal with that Ciroc and all of that. You know what I'm saying? When Diddy came after that particular family or whatever the case may be, that's when they came for that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Straight up and down. You know what I mean? Diddy was fucking with some powerful people. And they got the connections at the end of the day, and that's why Diddy is really because this case is some bullshit. This case is some complete bullshit, dog. I haven't heard nothing yet that tells me that Diddy was forcing these women or this woman into committing sexual acts. You know what I mean? She was with it. It was all consensual. You know what I'm saying? All of this was consensual. Now, the domestic violence shit, these two motherfuckers was just two toxic motherfuckers slapping and punching and beating on each other. That's what happens in a toxic relationship. They're going to fight. They're going to put hands on each other. They're going to accuse each other of, oh, you trying to get with this nigga. Oh, you looking at that bitch. Oh, why you talking, Cassie on the stand. Said, hey, she seen a text message in her phone and went across Diddy jaw. You know what I'm saying? Went across Diddy jaw with a two-piece and a biscuit. You know what I'm saying? So these are two motherfuckers that was just, very toxic. Let's just say that, okay? But the fact that he's going down for racketeering and a RICO charge and sex trafficking is BS, dog. Straight BS, man. I don't believe that shit, man. It is what it is. And like I said, it's setting a very dangerous precedent for men, man. I'm going to just be dead ass honest with you, man. Yeah, man, this is getting out of hand and it's fucking ridiculous. It is absolutely fucking ridiculous. So now if you meet a chick, let's say this. Now, if you meet a chick at a bar or some shit like that, would have to be in a place like a bar, right? Or a club. You meet her, y'all go to the crib, y'all do your thing. You telling me now this woman can turn around and say that he forced me into do this shit?